Hey, this is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful, empowered harmonizers. And before we get started on today's topic, I just want to give a huge shout out to those of you who have recently donated to the channel. Thank you so much. I appreciate your audacity, your boldness, and your courage to step up to the plate and say, you know what, this content matters. And I'm really hitting home. That speaks up to me that we are making a positive impact. We're resonating with some people. So it really is encouraging me to press onward, press forward, and to assist you with topics that are very important and relevant to you. So thank you so much for your recent donations to the channel. So right now we're going to zoom in and focus in on a great viewer question. And that is, once again, how do you really detox from a toxic person, a malignant narcissist, a psychopath, someone who has really kind of overstimulated you in your life, someone who has really gotten you hyper aroused, someone who has really come at you with a lot of images, a lot of feelings, you might have shared a lot of laughter together or sense of adventure. And that this person, the way that you feel your life experience is different with this person from no other. In other words, there's a sense of addiction. There is a heightened arousal state when you are with them. And it's important to acknowledge and validate within yourself that not all high arousal states are positive. In fact, it's great to have a lot of energy. It's wonderful to be very attracted to somebody. It's a great feeling, oceanic, to really fall in love and to feel that sort of, closeness and intimacy and, primordial drive, and to feel like this is the answer to your prayer. So, this is the right person, and there's no one else. This was, meant for me. So these are kind of all the profound oceanic feelings that one gets carried away with, within that love bombing. And it can carry you away, meaning it can be very disempowering. Not all high levels of arousal are empowering, or they get to a tipping point where they can actually cause you to become out of control, to violate your seventh and sixth sense, all of your senses. It can cause you to, this addiction can cause you to override your attention to your senses and do contradictory to what is true or right for you or in your best interest. In other words, it creates a self-violation, a self-sabotage, a self-sacrifice to be with this individual, to keep that high arousal state going. And it's very important to see that, oftentimes how you describe this might be, it's magical, it's, out of this world, it's orgasmic, it's infatuation, it gives me butterflies in my stomach, whatever it is. This heightened arousal state is very important for you to acknowledge, because this is the hyperarousal, hypersexualization state that the malignant narcissist or psychopath knows that they can hook you into. When they can control your feelings and cause you to be out of control, then they know that they have their target. It's easy pickings for them. It is, basically a win for them, and it actually becomes a lose for you in the long run, because when you lose control of your senses and your better judgment and your ability to see clearly, think clearly through the red flags or what is contradictory to what is good for you, i.e. you're losing health, you're losing sleep, you're losing sense of self-esteem, you're feeling you can't look yourself in the mirror, you feel like you're objectified, but you're feeling that you're making excuses for these states of being. And, you then say, well, eventually if I just work harder, or if I, better please them, that I will maintain that winning spot with this individual. So it's important to understand the mechanisms of self-denial and making excuses for why you are maintaining this high level of arousal within yourself, and to keep feeding that demon within you. So it's important to say, I am going to stop feeding that demon. And, you have to then be decisive and say, that is demonic, that is evil, that is out of control, that is lethal, that is not good, that is not healthy, that is not right for me. It's very important for you to make that decision, no matter how good looking, no matter if it's a family, member, whether it's someone at your workplace who's trying to overpower you and keep you distracted through this hyper arousal, hyper stimulation. And we're going to be doing a video here on really how they obliterate and blur people's boundaries. And, it becomes you get very much like a deer in a headlight sort of feeling where you're just kind of paralyzed emotionally. You don't know how to react. You haven't seen or been up against this before. You've never had to deal with this before. So this can be, a first christening experience for you to be up against this sort of manipulator, this type of overstimulation. How do you protect yourself? How do you help de-stimulate, deprogram, deregulate them as authority over you, and then you reclaim your own personal power? It becomes, very much easier said than done. I know we have a lot of viewers who say, I'm still in the fog here. And I think I'm going to go into a little bit more in depth, especially how it relates in the workplace. And we have a viewer who asked about, what do you do when they really sort of intervene and cut into your conversations at work? Take credit for what you've done, taking credit for what you've said, do things like mimic you or mimic your words, or, really sort of shut you out of the very own conversation that you're having. So you can be engaging in something, talking about a project or something with a coworker, and then they just butt in and they steal the thunder, they steal the show. It's a sort of covert bullying that can take place in the office. A malignant narcissist and a psychopath always wants to be in the limelight. They want to hyper arouse others. They want to get people used to and then seeking more of this negative behavior. They want to be acknowledged. They want to put their feet in other people's mouths and make them gag, make them, be stunned, make them lose control, and then here they go. It's a perfect, little blood that they can just begin to peck, and then, create the pecking order. So it's a way for them to create a pecking order in an environment where there is none, especially where there's weak structure or people, who are not used to having a backbone and protecting and nabbing this in the butt right away. So it can go several directions. And so it's important when we look at this specific topic, we look at the knowingness that this individual is going to continue to do this, and what they are seeking is that acknowledgement. They're seeking that limelight. They're seeking to overshadow and then, keep others in the dark, keeping them jumping, making them feel uncomfortable, making them distracted so that they can't focus. They have this sort of hypervigilance, hyper arousal. It can often be anger, because anger and this fear, especially in the workplace, can be very destructive. In your personal, life, it can then spill over into your personal life, where you're then obsessing about this all the time. How do I deal this? How do I clear my space? How do I clear my aura? How do I maintain a sense of civility without losing control? Well, for number one, you need to acknowledge the emotional effect, the energetic effect that this person has had on you. So whether it's anger, hate, resentment, feeling of violation, feeling of disgust, feeling like, you have no right to violate me. So understanding energetically how this feels is very important for you to become in touch with. And then see the reactivity state that it then creates. In other words, is this going to pattern and then lead to you losing it, you losing faith? You losing face also, especially in a work environment. That's what these people crave. They have an insatiable need for attention, and especially if they can make people freak out, lose control, get angry, lose credit for their work, lose their title. I mean, it is just a win. They're just going for the win. They're going for the look at me, you know, you are in a state of helplessness. So realize that that is their goal. And so you have to understand energetically that they will be very needy. So when you can really understand the imbecility and immaturity of the neediness. So in other words, they cling to others through their own insecurity. So it's to realize it's not coming from a good place. It's coming from a very insecure place. So it's coming from a really profound and disordered, insecure, you know, insatiable need. So a really vacuous sort of state, meaning that it's like an insatiable need. It's like a burning fire. It's like you can put, you know, 1,000,001 logs in there. You can give them all the accolades, but it's just going to burn stronger. So to realize this is to understand that you need to stop the senses and your own body from absorbing their energy. We're going to go a little bit long today because I think this is important. It's very important. People don't understand that when they are victimized or feeling a negative influence, they are absorbing or allowing others to, you know, to take too much of their energy, their personal power. So you need to stop absorbing their energy. Their hyper arousal, you know, their, I call it the Seinfeld moments when it's like Kramer's in the door and it's constantly like, drop me, look, you know, drop everything, look at me. They're going to need so much help. They're going to need, you know, you can't focus. You feel a constant state of agitation. So you're feeling this agitation. That's your senses. That's your intuition. That's your conscience saying, whoa, there is something off. There's something awry. You know, there is something toxic about this individual. And sometimes you can't even put words on it. It becomes just a feeling. But especially after they've done things a couple of times, then you have to kind of repair, restore, and do some damage control and detox. Get out of the addiction, i.e. the compulsion or feeling that you are powerless. So it is to stop absorbing their energy. It's to realize, it's just to kind of look at your own personal space and to realize you own this and you want to purify this space, i.e. take a couple deep breaths. That's the greatest way to calming down your nervous system from this hyperarousal, this feeling of betrayal, and feeling that they can just violate your boundaries at any time. So calming down is the best way to regain your personal space and really sort of purify that area. So calming down, getting into a state of coming into your own body. So really detaching energetically from this person, and then being able to view them as, you know, sort of look at them as an energy. Despite all that they've said and done, just look at them from a purely energetic standpoint. This is quantum field understanding and quantum field healing. It is to understand their energetic influence and impact on others in how it pulls, it takes, it clings, it depletes, it makes unhappy, it makes unfulfilled. So it's to understand it energetically. And energy is energy in motion, i.e. emotion, which is that which really drives most everything, including your conscience. You know, you say money rules the world, love runs the world, runs the world. This is energy. This is energy in motion. So it's to understand vibrantly how this affects you. And then to really calm down, because you need to get grounded. You need to come into a state of relaxed focus to really understand and clear your space energetically of them. And to come back to the state and awareness before all the violation and abuse and manipulation and resentment is to say, you know, I own this. I own my own space. This is like my own internal real estate. This is prime land. This is prime property. This is the castle at the top of the hill with the beautiful furniture, with, you know, the beautiful view, with the beautiful smells in the air, with, you know, I'm up here with the angelic realm. Like, this is my internal space. Like, you know, begin to really claim and be in touch with your own personal space, your needs, who you truly are, and claim that being state within you. and then begin to come into a state of indifference and neutrality with regards to this person. Indifference meaning I am not reactive. I'm not jumping at them. I'm not jumping for them. I'm not allowing them to make me jump, turn my head, be distracted, cast my ear, cast my body. You need to then engage in a pattern interrupt, meaning that this person is seeking a pattern, of reaction. In other words, they, come in and step and violate your conversation. They're wanting to keep their face in everything. See, a malignant narcissist or a psychopath, especially in relationships or in the workplace, they want their face and name on everything. If they can just, keep in front of or become visible in other people, this is a textbook strategy, where they'll just violate standards. They'll violate office protocol. They'll, they're fearless. Where most people would be like, no, I'm going to not do that. Like, that is not ethical. Like, that would be stupid. That would violate my sense of right or wrong. Of course you would never do that. So it's like those feelings. The malignant narcissist and the psychopath is like, what? I'm doing it all. Like, they'll just show their face in meetings. They'll become provocative at wrong times, say inappropriate things to get people's attention. They'll try to make quips that are, seemingly intelligent or that they're superior. They'll make fun of the bosses who they're supposed to respect. They'll engage in, water cooler talk, i.e., trying to get attention, from everybody else. So trying to find the juice on what's going on. They'll oftentimes, try to be, like harvesting people's gossip and being always in that state. So it's to really understand that hyper arousal, hyper stimulated state that they, look to keep everybody jumping on is to acknowledge that is textbook, and it is to now within yourself adopt a state of indifference, meaning I really don't care, meaning I'm not flinching, I'm not looking, I'm not reactive. On a feeling level, I'm not feeling anything. I'm grounded. I'm not saying, I'm not acquiescing to that feeling anymore. I'm not looking at it in the eye. I'm not listening to it with my ear. I'm not positioning my body to receive it. I'm turning my body away so as the energy bypasses me. I am adopting a state of indifference, meaning, this individual who comes in and tries to steal your thunder or intervene in your conversation or keep you hyper aroused. Do not give them eye contact. Do not engage with them on any verbal level. Look at, the top of their forehead, over their eye, at their shoulder. Do not give them eye contact. Do not respond. Engage with them energetically. Begin to engage in what we call a pattern interrupt. In other words, if they intervene or keep you kind of stuck in that addictive cycle, begin to break the cycle. If they ask you a question, ask a question if you must engage, but as it's, a whole different tangent. So in order to, break the cycle, break the tension, break the conversation, and begin to understand that you must have very, very clear, firm boundaries and standards. Boundaries and standards. No bullshit. Boundaries and standards. You must understand and, enforce this and protect this at all costs. So if this person is sitting close to you, you need to not engage. You need to not look. You need to, ask to move your desk. Anything you can do to move your body away. And if they come up near you, change your body position, giving them the shoulder, giving them this, folding your arms, anything you can do to create a barrier away from this person would be highly recommended. A barrier meaning you are literally putting your body like this to edge them away, and then you're energetically creating your own space. You can even do the hands on the hips, the hand, you know, with your arm on the on your desk or on your computer, you know, showing and marking your space, putting your hand on the cubicle wall, walking and taking paces as this person talks, and not being reactive, but being responsible and accountable to yourself. This will reset your neurology, so that you're no longer feeling hijacked psychologically or emotionally or energetically by them. You're stopping the addiction. You're stopping the hyperarousal. You're effectively stopping the bully from taking advantage. And the bully will continue on. And so, you know, if there's damage control, you know, you must address this, you know, and then begin to speak very objectively if they're trying to take your work, and just, you know, begin to acknowledge and write down, whether it's in a journal or a piece of paper, I began this project. I'm beginning my life anew. You know, if it's on a personal level, you need to make some declarative statements in your own journal and begin to document what you are doing for yourself. Get more in tune with your own responsibility, your own energy, what you're accountable to yourself. That's why it's so important to write things down. And then if this really gets out of hand, you present this to your HR. This is absolutely unequivocally what your human resources is for. They are your go-to people. If you are having an issue, they are there to make sure you have a positive, non-hostile environment. If you know, that is really what the human resources is looking at. If you are in a hostile environment, that is a big no-no. That is a big precursor to people, you know, not working in that department. So you need to realize that that is not to be tolerated, and that you have legal backing. You have that. And so you really need to, you know, purify your space and begin to understand that adulterating it is how the bully works. It's how the intimidator works. It's how the malignant narcissist or psychopath works. They want to intrude. They want to violate your personal space. They'll get your hand too close to you. It can be very annoying and unnerving, but it's hard not to get, you know, down from that hyper aroused state and say no more. This is excessive. So begin to become objective and use proper terminology and words to describe what is going on. You know, excessive this. You know, they're excessively violating the conversation. They are intervening, you know, they're taking initiative where they should not be. And, you know, and just say, you know, it is excessive in this regard, or, you know, it is doing this in this regard. So becoming very objective about what it's doing. It's, you know, taking my words and using it against me, and this is creating a hostile environment. Taking my projects and, you know, using them for their own